How to web scrape. Let's figure out how to scrape quotes to scrape.com and specifically grab the text and author for each of these quotes on the page. I probably want to drop this into a list of lists, or a list of tuples, or a list of dictionaries. I'm going to bring in this URL and grab the pieces that I need from gazpacho. From gazpacho, import the get function that will allow me to grab our HTML, and soup, which will allow me to wrap that HTML and start parsing it. So we'll run get on top of the URL and store this into an object called HTML. I'll then enable parsing by tossing HTML into the soup wrapper. Soup objects have a couple of special methods attached to them. The primary one that I'm interested in is find. And so I want to find, if I inspect element on this web page, how this quote is actually being rendered. And so I see that the raw text for the quote is in a span tag where class is equal to text. And the author information seems to be stored in a span and then a small tag and has author Albert Einstein. Both of those pieces, as I mouse over them, are captured by this larger kind of object where it's in a div. So if I mouse over each of these, I can see, okay, yeah, they seem to have uniform structure. They're all div classes. They all have class at quote. So let's find all those div classes on the web page. This is returning every single div. That's not what I'm interested in. I want the divs for where class is equal to quote. So this is a dictionary of HTML element tag attributes. And now I'm returning all of the quotes back into a list where each element in this list is a soup object. So let's call this quotes and grab the 0th one so we can spin up a quick little function to parse out those relevant pieces of information that we need right here. So because what's being returned by find is itself another soup object, I can actually chain another find method on top of this. So what did we say? We said that inside of the broader quote div, we've got these span where class is equal to text, and then these smalls where class is equal to author. So I can grab find the span for where class is equal to quote. Or text, pardon me. Wasn't turning up because it didn't have a class quote. That was the broader object above. And then down here we've got quote find the small where class is equal to author. And so this is grabbing me the entire HTML piece. I don't want the garbage for how it's being structured anymore. I just want the raw text, so I'll call the text attribute right here. And so I've figured this out for one. Let's do it for all by wrapping this functionality into its own function called parse. We're going to parse a quote, and we're going to return these pieces, I think, in a dictionary. We could structure it however, but I think that this would make the most sense. So we've got the actual quote, moving that up here, and then the author for this logic right here. And then we're checking this function on the original quote that we grabbed from above and seeing if it still works. The only thing left to do is to go back and run this parse function over all of the quotes. I could use a for loop or a list comprehension. I think I'm most comfortable with the list comprehension. So we'll go quote for quote in quotes. This is just the raw list comprehension to make sure that I'm doing it properly. And then we're going to wrap this parse function over each and get back the exact pieces of information that we need. So that's it. That's how to scrape quotes to scrape.com using gazpacho. In order to install gazpacho, it's a simple call at your terminal for pip install gazpacho. And if you'd like to learn more about this tool, you can check out the documentation at gazpacho.xyz and read through some other pieces that I didn't show.